"Stand up right now, or I'm calling the police." The words of Jennifer Mitchell sliced through the airplane cabin like shattered glass. She towered over the woman in the red leather jacket, her finger jabbing the air between them. Her voice dripped with authority and disgust. "This is a first-class cabin, and you don't belong here." The entire front section of the plane fell silent. Conversations died mid-sentence. Passengers in nearby rows craned their necks to see. 3 people already had their phones out, recording. The woman in the red jacket sat perfectly still, her green top catching the overhead lights. She looked up at Jennifer with quiet eyes that carried something Jennifer couldn't recognize: dignity. Jennifer Mitchell was head flight attendant on this route for 7 years. She wore her Navy uniform like armor, every button polished, every crease sharp. Her colleagues called her efficient. Passengers called her something else entirely. She'd made her reputation on maintaining standards, keeping order, protecting the sanctity of first class from people who didn't understand its rules. The woman in seat 2A had boarded last, slipping into the cabin while Jennifer dealt with an overhead bin issue in economy. When Jennifer returned and saw her sitting there in that red jacket and casual clothes, something triggered. No designer bag, no expensive jewelry, no look of someone who belonged among the leather seats and champagne glasses. "Ma'am, I need to see your boarding pass right now," Jennifer demanded, her voice deliberately loud. She wanted the other first-class passengers to hear this, to know she was protecting their space. People like you don't just wander into first class. The woman reached calmly into her jacket pocket and pulled out her boarding pass. She handed it up without a word. Her hands were steady, but something flickered in her eyes. Not fear. Something deeper. Something that looked like exhaustion with this exact moment happening again. Jennifer barely glanced at the boarding pass before handing it back. "This could be anyone's ticket. How do I know you didn't find this? Or that someone didn't give you their seat out of pity?" A businessman in row 1 shifted uncomfortably, but said nothing. An older couple across the aisle exchanged glances and looked away. A young woman in 3B lowered her phone, but kept recording. "I paid for my seat," the woman said quietly. Her voice was calm, measured, just like everyone else here. "Did you?" Jennifer's smile was cold. "Because I've been doing this job long enough to know who belongs in first class and who doesn't. And sweetheart, that jacket didn't come from anywhere these people shop." The woman's jaw tightened, but she didn't raise her voice. "I'm just trying to get home to see my daughter. Please, this isn't necessary." "What's necessary?" Jennifer said, stepping closer, invading her space. "Is maintaining the standards that our first-class passengers pay for. They shouldn't have to worry about who's sitting next to them." A male voice spoke up weakly from row 3. "Jennifer, maybe that's enough." She whirled on him. "David, I'm handling this. Go back to your magazine." David's face flushed red, but he obeyed, disappearing behind his business weakly like it was a shield. Jennifer turned back to her target. "Now you're going to stand up, walk back to economy where you belong, and we're going to forget this happened. Or I'm calling the captain, and we'll have security waiting at the gate." The woman met her eyes. For the first time, something shifted in that calm exterior. Not anger. Something stronger. She spoke slowly, each word deliberate. "I don't need your permission to exist." Jennifer's face went crimson. "That's it. I'm getting the captain." She pulled out her phone, making a show of it. "We have protocols for situations like this. People who cause disruptions, who make other passengers uncomfortable." The cabin door at the front of the plane opened. Everyone's head turned. The tension in the air changed frequency, like a string pulled too tight about to snap. A woman in a pristine pilot's uniform stepped through. For stripes on her shoulders caught the light. Her name tag read Captain Rodriguez. She moved with the kind of authority that doesn't need to announce itself. Behind her, a younger co-pilot followed, his face unreadable. But before we continue with what happened next, if you believe in stories that restore your faith in humanity, hit that subscribe button for PureKind Tales. We share real stories of justice, kindness, and karma every single day. Now back to the story. Jennifer straightened, confusion crossing her face. "Captain Rodriguez? I was just about to call you. We have a situation with a passenger in seat 2A who—" "Stop talking, Jennifer." The captain's voice was quiet, but it cut like a knife through steel. Jennifer's mouth opened and closed. Excuse me." Captain Rodriguez walked past Jennifer without looking at her. She stopped at row 2. The woman in the red jacket looked up, and something passed between them. Recognition. Relief. Love. "Mom," Captain Rodriguez said softly. "I'm so sorry I'm late. Traffic getting to the airport was insane." The cabin erupted in whispers. Jennifer's face drained of color, like someone had pulled a plug. "This is Dr. Elena Rodriguez," the captain continued, turning to face the cabin, her voice carrying to every seat. "My mother. She's a cardiac surgeon at St. Mary's Hospital. For 35 years, she's saved lives. 2 months ago, she performed emergency surgery on a senator's wife at 3 in the morning after working a double shift." She turned to Jennifer, and her eyes were ice. "The woman you just humiliated spent 20 years working 3 jobs to put me through flight school. She cleaned offices at night. She served coffee to people who didn't see her face. She wore secondhand clothes so I could afford textbooks." Jennifer tried to speak. I couldn't have known." "That's exactly the problem." Captain Rodriguez cut her off. "You didn't know, and you didn't care to know. You looked at her jacket and decided her worth. You saw her quiet dignity and mistook it for weakness." Elena spoke up, her voice still calm. "Mija, it's okay. I'm used to." "It's not okay, Mom." Captain Rodriguez's voice cracked slightly. "It will never be okay." She turned back to Jennifer. "You're suspended pending investigation. When we land, you'll meet with supervisors. Security will escort you off this aircraft." Jennifer's hands trembled. "Please, I have 20 years with this airline. I was just trying to maintain standards. I was protecting." "You were protecting nothing," the co-pilot spoke up. "You were performing cruelty for an audience." Around the cabin, passengers who'd been recording suddenly lowered their phones. The businessman in row 1 stared at his hands. The couple across the aisle looked sick. David in row 3 had tears in his eyes. They all felt it now, the weight of their silence, while someone was humiliated in front of them. Captain Rodriguez helped her mother adjust her seatbelt. "Comfortable, Mom?" Elena nodded, squeezing her daughter's hand. "More than comfortable, Mija. Proud." As Captain Rodriguez walked back to the cockpit, Jennifer being escorted behind her by security who'd appeared from the back, Elena sat quietly in her seat. She didn't gloat, didn't smile triumphantly. She just pulled out a book and opened it, the same dignity she'd carried through the entire ordeal still radiating from her like light. The cabin remained silent for the first 20 minutes of flight, heavy with shame and revelation. Someone in row 4 whispered, "I should have said something." They all felt it. Respect doesn't begin when you learn someone's title. It begins with seeing them as human. So what would you do if you witnessed something like this? Would you speak up or stay silent? What did you think about how Dr. Rodriguez handled it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and tell us where you're watching from. If this story moved you, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear this message today. Remember, respect costs nothing, but its absence costs everything. Thanks for watching PureKind Tales, and we'll see you in the next story.